All right, so here's our last lesson on prepositional phrases. One of the ways that we use prepositional phrases is to make intro clauses. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is a clause? Well, a clause is very similar to a phrase. They're basically the same thing. It's a short piece in a sentence that makes sense on its own, but isn't a complete sentence. So I can say prepositional phrase or prepositional clause, they mean the same thing. We tend to use clause. It's a little bit more grammar-y, a little bit more academic, that specific vocabulary, but they can be used interchangeably. All right, so intro clauses do exactly what they sound like they do. They introduce sentences. And some of the reasons you're going to want to use them is to set the tone. And we're going to see that as we look at the examples. So, he finally finished his novel after months of research. As we've already been learning, that after months of research section is a prepositional phrase. You can take that prepositional phrase and put it at the beginning of the sentence, and the sentence still makes sense. After months of research, he finally finished his novel. Now, you would do this if you wanted to stress the research and the time that he spent doing the research. Whatever comes first is going to be the thing that whoever is reading whatever you're writing, they are going to pay attention to that first, right? So if you as a writer want your readers to pay attention to something or to really care about a detail, put it earlier in the sentence. One of the ways you can do it anyway is putting it earlier in the sentence. So I would make this choice if I would make this switch if I really wanted my readers to understand that this person spent a lot of time doing research, right? After months of research, he finally finished his novel. If I want my readers to focus on the fact that he finished his novel, I would use the first sentence. He finally finished his novel after months of research. So both are grammatically correct. It's about where you want your reader to focus. So now let's do this next one. The cat knocked over the plant while I was asleep. How would you flip this sentence? Take a moment and think about it. While I was asleep, the cat knocked over the plant. Why would you use this second sentence instead of the first? Take a moment to think about that. So again, there's no right or wrong answer here, but you might use the second one if you really wanted to draw attention to the fact that you were asleep, you were peacefully asleep, nothing should have been going wrong, but this mischievous cat is always doing something wrong, right? So while I was asleep, the cat knocked over the plant. If you want to draw attention to the fact that the cat knocked over this plant and that is what you were upset about, you would use the first sentence. The cat knocked over the plant while I was asleep. Okay, think about this one. Nero fiddled while Rome burned. How would you flip this sentence? While Rome burned, Nero fiddled. Why would you use the second sentence as opposed to the first one? Well, you may want to draw attention to the fact that Rome is burning, right? While Rome burned, Nero fiddled. Another thing that this does, because the second part is so short, it really actually draws attention to the fact that while Rome is burning, this crazy thing is happening. While Rome burned, Nero just sat there and fiddled, right? It's so short that it makes it seem it's such a contrast to the first part. So after that very short lesson, you're going to go to the intro clauses assignment in Schoology, and you are going to flip sentences. There are 10 sentences there. You have to figure out where the prepositional phrase is and then put it at the beginning of the sentence. Good luck.